Hi YouTube, this is Ashley Ashlock. I just kind of wanted to do a video for the newbies, being that I've been in this lock journey for almost 2 years now. I kind of wanted to make a video for any people who are thinking about locks or are new to the lock community. This is the kind of a video for you. So the first thing I would say is, if you want to get comfortable with the idea of having locks, is to go natural. If you see yourself in your natural state with your hair natural, you will have a better sense of confidence as your hair goes through the various stages during the locking process, because you have to be very patient and you will endure a great amount of frizz and maybe even some stares from people. So your creativity and your confidence are essential for you during this point to get over the hump until you have solidified locks. So I'm going to be looking at my notes here. The next thing I would say is to know the type of locks that you want. If you want to go semi-freeform, then you can just wash or either take out some type of twist and just, not semi-freeform, freeform, just wash and go. And over time, our hair of the African descent, our hair, the coarseness of our hair, it will lock. So it may take longer. With the freeform, you will not really have any per se in the size of locks that you have. You can kind of like separate the locks out as they're going through the process, but it's kind of you really going through as your locks go. There are traditional locks, which I have, and then there are micro locks, which are much smaller locks, and sister locks, which must be maintained usually by a professional. You want to know your lock size. So for myself, and the lock size sort of goes with the size to part ratio, and you have to kind of know the density of your hair. So if you have really thicker hair, then if you have larger parts, then your hair will be thicker. Whereas with myself, I always thought my hair was like really thick because it's full, but I noticed that once I got locks, especially, you notice that your hair has different degrees of density throughout the hair. I noticed that the front of my hair, it was more delicate or thinner than I expected. So my locks here are relatively small, and these are after being combined. So they would have been much smaller had I not combined them. So you kind of want to know what size locks that you want. So if you want larger locks, then create larger parts. If you want thinner locks, then create thinner parts. So it's kind of like your lock part ratio. As for myself, I kind of like, I started off with 93 locks, and now I have like 65. So I combined a lot of locks because I noticed that they were relatively thinner and not the size that I wanted. I wanted thicker, fuller locks because I wanted to have more of a base for longevity for me, in my opinion, for like the type of maintenance that I was going for an aesthetics for myself. And just to know that your locks will shrink. So depending upon how you're starting your locks, if you're interlocking, 2-strand twisting, 3-strand twisting, your locks will start off, especially 2-strand twist, they may start off at a certain size and then swell as they are after you wash them. I encourage you to wash your locks. The sooner you wash your locks, the sooner it begins the locking process. During the process of obtaining locks, patience and water are your friend. The more water you have, you're able to see more frizz. And what happens with the frizz is that your hair starts to contract and condense. So the frizz, it's helping your hair. So you may think of the frizz as a negative thing. I see the frizz as a good thing. For the times when I have combined any of my locks, I make sure I sprayed or washed my hair as soon as possible because I want to go ahead and get this process rolling. You kind of want to know how will your locks be maintained. If you're interlocking, are you going to interlock them yourself, or will you get the appropriate tool to interlock? If you are free-forming, are you going to separate? Are you going to let your locks combine and kind of like have a Congo lock? Because you can free-form and just kind of like separate out so that the locks can kind of be in their own perimeter. If you don't want locks connecting with each other, it's really on you. Or if you're going to have traditional locks, are you going to semi-freeform them? Are you going to go to a shop for maintenance? Are you going to use, how are you going to maintain them? What type of products are you going to use? I use oils when I lock my hair. I've never used any wax or gels because I know that can get trapped in your hair. So you need to kind of figure out what maintenance, how often you're going to have maintenance, because you don't want to over twist. And if you have hair that grows away from your scalp, you don't want to under twist. So you kind of have to figure out the proper medium for yourself as your locks are developing. You make sure you wash your hair. I know if someone tells you don't wash your hair, please wash your hair. Like, that's the best thing about locks. You're able to wash your hair and go on about your day and let it dry with the sun. With locks, I know it's really hard, especially with the social media. It's best to not compare. Everyone has different locks. No matter if you went to the same person to to get your locks started, we all have different density of hair. We all have different textures of hair. We all have different color sizes. So it's really like no special formula to get your locks to look just like that person. So I say to embrace your own locks. Smile, love your locks, be patient, and just know that these locks that you have are individual to you. Even if you're a twin, it's still going to be your locks. And another thing about locks are that no two locks are the same. Even on a head full of locks, no two locks are the same. So that's one thing about locks, is that you would just be your own unique person. You may have locks like other people may have locks, but your locks are just specially formulated for you. So you need to be patient and enjoy whatever process that is done for you with your locks. So yeah, no comparison. Figure out the size. Know that locks will shrink, and your hair is going to shrink. So you can start with hair, no matter what length, it's going to shrink, it's going to shrink, it's going to shrink, and you're going to have to be patient and just go through the process. It's something everyone has to do, we all have to do to get through. And so just be patient, enjoy the naturalness of you, love you, cherish you, compare you to you, and just know that you're in this journey for you, and get locked and enjoy your lock process. This is Ashley, Ashlock, checking in. Peace.